of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Thank you kindly, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a call to the nation. One by one, let's do it together. Let's be the change we want to see. Standing strong to any weather. Follow the light of the PEP. Cause we could build a better place for every creed and every race. Together we could triumph over anything we face.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for coming here. This afternoon, we like to start with the afternoon prayer. But I use my normal voice. yeah. You know. Step what? Okay. I know that, Philip. I know that. So, Lord, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. For each mind and heart fills the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to do, to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, a hint, a daily instruction. We have talents, abilities, time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail and every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good. Your righteousness transcends all our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that pops up our chests. Pride to treasure qualifies us. Strengthen our confidence in who you made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting today, all those present, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. And this afternoon, I'd like to say, so dear God, Father, as we come in this vicinity this afternoon, we come thanking you for your blessings, that we are your children. And we have come here this afternoon to encourage other children in this struggle. Amen.
If this doesn't work, I'll talk loud. I'd like to apologize that we are not as ready as we should be. And I'd like to apologize that the people in charge of the sound system are not here to do it. That said, the Progressive Empowerment Party is about change and it's about fixing it. We are not about looking like we do not know what we're doing. So I apologize to you that we are running late with some of these things, but we will quickly get into our program and make it happen for you. Okay, Indira?
Oh my God, I'm so short. Hi. Okay, so I'm clearly not accustomed to doing this. I'm supposed to be your MC for today, but we'll see how that goes. I would like to call to the stage the chairman of the PEP, Ms. Felicia Holder.
I had my shades and waiting because I realized the sun was staring directly in my eye, but I have a cloud that's being kind to me, so hopefully he's going to stay for the full 10 minutes of my speech. If you see me pull on my shades, you know why. It's because the sun is literally pointing directly in my eye. And if you see me don't looking into the crowd, it's because I'm just trying to look away from getting that glare. But anyway, good afternoon. Welcome to everybody to our meeting in Chaguanas West. This is the constituency of Chaguanas, and here comes the sun. This is our meeting in Chaguanas West, and I'm very happy to be here. I think it's the first time we're in this location. It's the first time we're having a public meeting in this constituency, if I'm not mistaken, at least not for the past 3 or 4 years since we've been on the election campaign. But again, my name is Felicia Holder. I'm the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and it is my pleasure to have all of you here with us this evening. It is my pleasure to see all the faces, the familiar and the new. And it is, as part of my job, to watch the party grow and be involved in the building out of this organization. And watching from where we were in inception to where we have grown to be, where we are evolving to, I must say it is kind of emotional, because we would have started this with just a sea of people who came in knowing that they just want to volunteer, they know that they want a better country, but they may not have necessarily known where exactly they would have fit in this puzzle, where they would have fit in the scheme of where we are growing and building out to. And now I'm watching some faces sitting down to the front here, some faces that you're going to meet a little bit later on in the program. And I have to say, it is encouraging to see that everybody is finding their place. It's encouraging to see that people are reaching and achieving their purpose in this entire scheme of building and becoming a better Trinidad and Tobago. I always say that we started this off, like I said, as volunteers, and in order to grow the party, people would have had to take on specific responsibilities, specific roles. I myself, as chairman, never thought that I would have been the chairman of a political organization. But everybody brings with them their unique skill sets. Everybody brings with them their unique drive. And I've been seeing, apart from myself, people within my team, within teams that I'm no longer even a part of. That's to tell you how big we are growing. I'm seeing people finding their purpose and really digging deep to build out to where we are today and where we're aiming to be. And I also like to thank the people in the crowd, the audience, those who came out today. We, the Progressive Empowerment Party, launched our 2025 election campaign in January this year, 2023. And unlike most political parties who wait 2 months or 6 weeks before an election is called to get their feet on the ground, we have been walking Trinidad and Tobago. We have been reaching out and spreading the message. We have Jennifer Mohammed and her team, Lachman Ramrup, Nicole Mangla. They've been beating the streets of Chaguanas, the market. They've been representing the market vendors. This week we would have served a pre-action protocol on behalf of the market vendors. They've all been involved in getting us to where we are today. And outside of an election season, to see that we have people who are interested in change, it says a lot. Outside of an election season, to see that we have people who are willing to come and hear and learn and be educated on change, it says a lot. So I would like the audience to give yourselves a round of applause, because you are really part of making a difference. I never thought that we would see this in Trinidad and Tobago, but here we are being a part of history. In closing, I would like to say this. It's a little bit off the cuff, but I would have hinted to it a couple weeks ago when I did a live video with Philip on Philip Alexander Live. And I mentioned something called trauma bonding. And as a student of human communications, and that's what I did, I studied literatures in English and human communications in UWI. And as a student of human communications, learning about the psychology, because there is some psychology involved in the way people interact and communicate with each other, in the way they send and receive messages. And in getting involved in the psychology behind the way people communicate, I've been learning a bit, or a lot more, I will say, and I'm, of course, still learning about the way people behave. And it's interesting to know that we are all literally, every single one of us, if I could look at you right now, every single one of us would have been shaped by some form of trauma in the past. And again, not trying to pretend to be what I'm not, but in essence, what I'm getting at is that we all have very unique experiences that would have shaped us as human beings, who we are as a nation. A lot of times people ask, why are Trinbagonians so careless? Why things falling around us and we literally not taking it on, and Trinidadians don't care? And Indira just gave me my 2-minute warning, which is great because I am usually the one who doesn't have much to say, but I want to get this part out. We as Trinbagonians, we've been shaped by a lot in our history, who we are as individuals, who we are as a collective. And I believe that we have gone through a good bit of abuse from our governments in ways that we may not have understood, but in ways that manifest today, in ways that make us predisposed to not want to fight. We kind of give up, we jam in still because we feel as though, nothing is ever going to change. And in understanding the psychology behind it, I think I'm a little bit more committed to being part of that change, because I understand that we're all coming from our individual places of experience. We all have our individual hurts. Understanding that somebody might be snapping at you because they are experiencing their own individual pains makes me as a human being a little bit more understanding to when somebody does that to me. And I think as a country we have so much healing to do. I think as a country we deserve so much better, and understanding that our time has to come, our time will come, and that the abuse, the years of abuse that we've endured by our governments, that one day it's going to be over. And the reason why we're here today as the Progressive Empowerment Party is because we want to be part of taking us out of that place of hurt and taking us to the nation that we're supposed to be. Thank you all again for coming here this evening. Thank you for listening to me. And please do enjoy the rest of the proceedings. If you don't have a seat yet, please have a seat, because we have a very interesting program lined up for you today. Have a good evening. Bye.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we gon' fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we gon' fix it, because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lima McLeod, Deputy Political Leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm not even going to pussyfoot around. We know why we are here. We see the direction Trinidad and Tobago is going, and it's not something that we want for the future. When you look at the amount of debt this country is in, you know our children are going to be slaves in the future to pay off those debts. And we as the adults now have a duty to that generation and after to ensure that they don't end up slaves in a system that is working against them. We could already see it now. Our politicians making 40 plus a month. They have more yesterdays than tomorrows. And we are not getting value for the money that we are paying them as a salary. Just look at the condition of Chaguanas and environs. If there's any major issue, do you think we will get the response we need from any organization managed by this government? There was a fire recently in Chaguanas, probably last year, 2001 Plaza. That could have been detrimental. And we are not understanding, or Trinidadians are not paying attention to the seriousness of these events. A simple thing as our fire service not being equipped is a serious problem. Police service is a serious problem, right? Right now, the United States is saying that our extrajudicial killings by police is a problem. That is embarrassing for a country like us. We complaining about right now we're in dry season, we are complaining about water. WASA already put out where we're gonna have issues for water. Just now they will say crime is a problem why we don't have water. I just drove out of Port of Spain with heavy rain, bucket a drop of rain, and down here is dry. Why in 2023 we are not preparing for things like that? We could reach out to the Dutch who have mastered the art of water management. Why aren't we doing that? No, they want it where we must pay $700 for a truck for water because it benefits a few. But we need to get to the point where whatever our government does or any state we need to start paying attention and showing that politics is an investment in our future. Because the only way to change anything is through politics. The only way to change anything in this country is through politics. So whether you want to say, I'm not into politics or what, is the food prices is because of politics. Why we don't grow our own food? Because the politicians don't want it so. Because it benefits the 1% for importing the food. Why we don't have water for all, literally? Because it benefits a few when you have to pay for water or certain areas. When you go certain areas, they get water right through, you know. They don't have to beg for water. So why it can't be so for the entire country? Right now, rain falling in Port of Spain, why aren't we looking at capturing that water and keeping it so dry season farmers could have water to wear their crops, wash down their farms, etc.? No, they want to make everybody's life difficult. And we have to suffer for a few. And I am here today to let you all know that the Progressive Empowerment Party has said enough is enough. And we want change. We are here for change, and we are going to do it one way or the other. And this is how Trinidad and Tobago has to get now. We have to demand better, and it starts with everybody. So join the Progressive Empowerment Party and help us fix Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
And again, I'd like to thank everybody who are working overtime to solve whatever little problems we have. In this world of broadcast, one person reached late and it causes a cascade on everybody else. So that was the problem. And I want you to understand that we are on top of it as best as possible. We are on top of it as best as possible because we have a responsibility to keep our word and to have our event today. So we've changed up the program a little bit because Lima McLeod Wilkinson, our deputy political leader, raised some very important points. And these points cannot be ignored. And we cannot have a conversation that doesn't follow up on what she says or doesn't follow up on what Felicia Holder said. So after I speak, you will meet the shadow MPs and the new shadow MPs, including the shadow MP for Chaguanas West. That's going to happen today as well. But we have to have a conversation as a people. And this is not a stunt political party. What Lima just said to you, what Felicia said to you, is basically we either get busy fixing it or we learn to live in that mess forever. Raise your children to live in that mess. I went to Piarco Airport today and I did a video, and I am a half Syrian, and I asked, is that Syrianaco or Piarco? Because I didn't know when the center atrium of the airport was made available for a fast food restaurant. I didn't know that you could bid and tender. I have Robert Amar here present. Robert, did you know, you're a man, you know about these things. Did you know that they ever considered renting out the atrium before Starbucks got it? I went in that airport today and I watched Maria's Bakery, signs big, that's Rahal people. And I watched Mario Sabga Abood have 3 rituals locations. And I watched Starbucks. And I watched all of this happening in Trinidad and Tobago. And I asked, if our anthem says, here every creed and race finds an equal place, Where's the equal economic space for all the creeds and races in Piaco? Because it sends a message to the people. And it tells black and Indian people that they're second-class citizens. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago that a progressive empowerment party government will end that once and for all. I want to say that again. I have no problem with anybody becoming as rich as God and God's son. Be as rich as you want. I have an uncle who had to live till he was 92. He worked till he dead. Rich, you know. Rich. He richer than God. We still dead. But he was working till he dead. When my father was dying, he was surrounded in the sterile, high dependency unit of a hospital. He was surrounded by his children and his grandchildren for days. And they were singing for him and rubbing his hands and his feet and putting oil in his hair and comforting him. Some of the grandchildren knew him as Papa. And his children were there. And his children and his grandchildren, nothing in the world was more important than him. My father wasn't a rich man by any stretch of the imagination. But he was far more wealthy than my rich uncle who died alone. And to the people to whom money is your God, I want you to hear me say this, sir. Life takes turns. And to my family, who are living in this country like it is something to monetize, everything is something to make into your profit and your profit alone, that is destroying Trinidad and Tobago, and we have to stop it. We have to stop it. I want to tell KFC and McDonald's and Burger King, y'all are killing Trinidadians and Tobagonians with heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Our diet changed to this Americanized diet. We can't get foreign exchange, but we have more fast food franchises in this country per capita than just about anywhere. We have more KFC than anywhere in the world. I want you to understand that gets paid for with foreign exchange. Every Starbucks that they open gets paid for in foreign exchange. If you are not sharing the foreign exchange equally among the citizens of the country, you are using government to disadvantage the average person. That is dictatorship. That is wrong. That is injustice. And the Progressive Empowerment Party is here to end all of that. Where I am standing, I do not know how the audio is sounding. Is it too loud for you or is it good? We good? Right. And I don't want to dwell too much on this, but I want to tell you something. Our national anthem, for it to include here every creed and race finds an equal place, it means that the framers intended that it be so. The framers intended that after the British colonial overlords were no longer in charge of Trinidad and Tobago, that all of our people would share in the bounty of Trinidad and Tobago. If you've never heard Eric Williams' speech on August 31st, 1962, it is available on YouTube, and I am inviting you to go and listen, because what Trinidad became and what Trinidad started out as is two different things. the intention of what they wanted for this country. And the reason that I am still in this country, fighting for this country, is that I know the potential of my country. I know a country that have as many firsts and onlys like Trinidad has. Trinidad has the only nylon pool, the only Bucco Reef. We have the biggest tar deposit in La Brea. Trinidad and Tobago had so much bounty, as the Bible says, pressed down and running over. To have this many people suffering in this country is obscene. And I want to ask Trinidad and Tobago, every single citizen, especially the parents, is this what you want to leave for your children? Do you want to leave your children in a society where the laws and the systems of governance is set up to use law enforcement and the justice system to press your children down, to oppress them, to offer them a two-tiered education system? Because I ask all the time, if we have one education system, why they have different books? If we have one education system, how could some schools be prestige and some schools fail? If we have one education system coming from one Ministry of Education, pushing one curriculum, getting one set of funding, how could Fatima College be a prestige school and Mokarapo Secondary across the road be failed? How? And no politician, no stunt artist politician asking those questions. They're talking nonsense for you. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, everything that is wrong in this country is deliberate. It is secret society nonsense. It is government controlled by a contract mafia who are only interested in their own self-enrichment. Lima said to you today, you have to get interested in yourself too. It will not change. Do not wait for them to grow a conscience. Chaguanas traffic plan is an insult to decency. It is like if they gave a drunk person speaking a different language, plan how we drive in Chaguanas. If you ask me to come Chaguanas during the week, I tell you though, between 9 and 4, I not come in. The insanity of trying to leave Price Plaza, to go past 2 roundabout, to come back past the same 2 roundabout, go across the highway, go in the back behind where they just make the coffin and come back out on the same highway. Somebody was mad. That wasn't science. Check it for yourself. And the only reason, look at this road here. Robert Amar and I was talking on the radio. Look at Ramsaran Street. And picture Ramsaran Street with 20, 30, 40-story buildings. Picture Rockefeller Plaza right on this empty lot. Picture that Ramsaran Street connected to the highway. Picture bypassing the highway around Chaguanas so you could connect the 2 sides of Chaguanas and stop the nonsense of the overpass nightmare. Picture a Chaguanas in a country that is not deliberately trying to stifle it to the benefit of those who don't want Chaguanas people to prosper. That is the only reason. When I went in the Chaguanas market, I couldn't believe that human beings did that to human beings. If you told me that that market was created to mind pigs, I would tell you, I would bring the animal rights activists to rescue the pigs. To tell me that is for human beings to be vendors, I watch people standing on drains. They're literally standing on drains. They design these concrete tables and they have drains running between it. So when rain falls and the drain clog, you're selling your produce and water running over your foot. drain water, running over your foot. The people who are fortunate to get the front spaces are fortunate to have pigeons crapping on their heads while they're selling their produce. Picture that same market 10 times the size. Picture that same market properly set up, a proper food court with 50 restaurants. Picture a meat section and a fish section. Picture acres of parking. That's how they do it in the first world. Trinidad is first world in a backwards way. We have first world money, but we don't have first world government. We've never had first world leadership. No PNM, no UNC. Don't fool yourself. No matter how much race they put in your head. Tell them I say, anybody who cared about you could have never leave you to live so. Could have never tell you, let your father drive on that road and your mother go and shop in that market. They don't care about you. They never care about you. They only care about their friends. They only care about thief and money. Wassa. The Caroni Plains, you just hear them talk about the Caroni Plains, and I watch the Caroni Plains. Robert, again, I want to talk to you about this, because you and I share ideas. The Caroni Plains, the Caroni River, running through the Caroni Plains. You could sink a lake 100 feet deep. The Caroni will never burst its banks again. We will never lose the water. They will collect enough water there in a reservoir that could provide water for everything south of Chaguanas. How much money that will cost? That will cost less money than the $500 million the two short Oompa Loompa dwens in the PNM spending right now to make the 1% Tanti walkover, flyover by West Mall. That nobody in Diego Martin know what it's for. Nobody in Diego Martin asks for it. I blame the people in Victoria Keys. The people in Victoria Keys call me and say, no, brother, we ain't even won that day. So the only reason the two short Dwen Oompa Loompas in the PNM doing that is for the PNM and their financiers to thief money. And you have to understand, if your government's full purpose is to thief money, that's not your government. You are in a hostage situation. What Felicia said about trauma bonding is true. People in the reason you don't have 100,000 people here today is because they are afraid of their government. They are afraid to even be associated with anything political. Trinidadians have to have a red shirt and a yellow shirt because you ain't know who you're talking to. And you had to make sure, because they will dig out your eye. That's what they will do. But the problem is, and you don't understand this, they're going to dig out your eye anyway. The time going to pass. If the welfare reach by you yet, it don't mean it ain't coming. You cannot be defending any of those parties and look at this country and not believe that we have been abused by our leaders. $3 trillion. $3 trillion. You know what Norway did with their $3 trillion? Norway put their $3 trillion in something that we copied, called a Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Norway's Heritage and Stabilization Fund, ours could buy 4 doubles and 2 solo. And they're lying to you, you know. Calm job is to smirk and talk foolishness and let PNM ministers. Yes, man. That is the foolishness we come for. But they just lie to you because our savings is less than our debt. So if ever Trinidad money can't pay its bills, we will go into receivership as a country. We do not have a country. When Stuart Young said we did $30 billion in revenue, and Colm said the budget is $60 billion, that means we spent $30 billion in debt. $30 billion in debt that goes to your children and your grandchildren. And you have to, the parents of this country, you have to pay attention to this. You see, we could continue to talk Black and Indian politics, and we could continue to talk PNM and UNC foolishness, who thief more, who thief less, who lesser evil, whatever. But at some point, you have to understand that the bill that is going to come due is not their bill. They are spending your money. And it is you that are going to have to find that money to pay. When the housing bubble burst in America in 2008, it wasn't the Congress people who lost their houses. It was average citizens who lost everything, who woke up one morning in a house that was worth $1 million that they had $500,000 debt on, and they were paying their bills. And by the evening, the house wasn't worth $10,000, and they still had $500,000 debt. And in banking circles, that is called being underwater. That cannot be tolerated on their books. And they have to come and throw you out and seize the house. That's what happened. Trinidadians are being warned. We have been ringing the alarm bell. Everything that we said was going to happen. I remember when Dave Locks copied and sent to me my whole prediction on Petrotrin 3 years before. And he said, look, you tell them. You told them it was coming. This is a country of 1.27 million acres of fertile land. Look at this. This is the dry season, and they had to come and cut this grass for us to have this meeting. This is a country that could feed itself 50,000 times over, not just feed itself. This is a country that could compete internationally and contribute to the food source of the world. This is a country that could do that. That is what Trinidad and Tobago is. Instead, we are paying higher prices for melangen and bodi in Trinidad than they pay in New York and Toronto, who get in bodi and melangen from Trinidad. Explain that. Explain it. Suriname Baigan. When I was a little boy, we used to go by my grandmother on Church Street and climb up the tamarind tree. Now when I go in the mall and I go in the grocery, the only tamarind you could get in Trinidad imported all the way from Egypt. Egyptian tamarind. When I see a tamarind tree in Trinidad, they have you growing frangipani. That's everybody house and yard growing frangipani. When you see food run out, and the pandemic told us that it is possible for the global food supply to collapse. The pandemic told us that the food supply chain could stop. How much frangipani you going to eat? Our country is broken by politics. Our country is broken by greed. The only way we are going to fix it is by uniting all of our races, all of our people, and standing together as one people under one flag. That is the only way we're going to fix it. You need these things to happen. You need the banks to stop depleting your bank account balance with ridiculous fees. The only way that is going to happen is if there's competition among the banks and that there is a financial service regulations enacted by Parliament to create the rules under which banks operate in Trinidad. We have 5 banks, and those 5 banks are part of one little interconnected, diluted gene pool. And they make the same decisions, and they do the same things to you. They're not competing with each other. They realize that if everybody hold their corner, they could feast on you. That if today you say Republic Bank, all they're doing me this, I taking my money and going by Scotia, by tomorrow Scotia doing the same thing. So to even worth the effort. What you need is a government that understands its role and its responsibility to steward the national economy to the benefit of all the people. Somebody said, stop judging the performance of the country or the economy by how well rich people are doing. Judge the performance of the economy by how everybody doing, especially the people on the bottom rung. There are people who come to me daily, and people has asked me why I vex. I tell you why I vex, eh? And I vex all the time because I hadn't come out of politics. I wasn't vexed before politics. But people know that they could call me. This gentleman called me from Princestown. He said, 2 weeks now I trying to reach you. They have this woman, her house, she drunk in the thing, it's mashing up, she can't see, she old, the bank ain't taking she on, she gonna lose everything. And he buffed me. He buffed me. So I asked him in the WhatsApp, I say, who else did you talk to before you reached out to me? Which one of those public office holders did you talk to before you talked to me? He said, nobody. I came straight to you. And I listed for him all of the people that he should have called first, who could have done something. He said to me, Mr. Alexander, where this woman live, by the time any of them even look around to respond to me or to check on her, she dead and lost she house. I woke up one morning to find out Errol Fabian and his family's belongings was in the yard. I called Errol, I said, what's going on? He said, boy, the bank, the levy on the house and thing. I said, Errol, we're going to help you. Let me talk to the person in charge. Errol asked the person in charge of the bailiffs who was emptying his house into the yard, throwing his family in the road. And that person said on the side of the phone, not taking it, me have no time with nobody, brother. And I went to that bank and I did a live video that went viral, millions of views. And I told Errol, set up an account, we will save your house. The bank told him he had 24 hours. I'm only talking about this because so many people after messaged me about their house. We had to start up a citizens union of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a gentleman here, Mr. Ian Griffith. He has been responsible for saving so many people's lives, homes, jobs, businesses, quietly. That is why people come to us first. If you know, if when the wolf reaches your door, people tell you, call Philip Alexander, call the Progressive Empowerment Party, then put us in government. We will fix all of it. Our water policy is called capture, hold, treat, distribute, which basically means go everywhere that water collects and dig a hole. They've been doing it for millennia. We didn't invent it. They've been doing it since Mesopotamia and Babylon and the Aztecs and the Incas, the Persians. They've all known how to capture, hold, treat, and distribute water. The aqueduct system, when you hear the word aqueduct, that's a Roman word, it's Latin. It means aqua, water, duct, to manage. Managing water, and they developed the ways to bring water over mountains. For California to be the 13th largest economy in the world, they had to bring water from 200 miles away. There was 200,000 people living in California, and in 6 years, they had 14 million because they were able to bring water. Trinidad has water that falls on this country. So much water falls on this country that every single rainy season, somewhere in Trinidad drowns. Somewhere. Some community drowns. Our water policy is wherever you know that the water historically collects, sink retention ponds there. Where it is possible, like the Caroni Plains, put reservoirs and dams and lakes, hold our water. We get more water in the rainy season than we could use for 10 dry seasons. Capture the water. You know, as the PNM and UNC water policy, thief money. Thief money. Let them suffer, because if they're suffering, we could thief, and they could say, well, they're trying. That's what they do. That's what they do you. They will leave your roads like the road in Maruga. Dion Rogers here? The road in Maruga had to literally become impassable for the government to finally say, all right, we come in. You think anybody asks Rohan Sinanan how much money they spend in Maruga? Nobody care. You just want your road. That's what they do you. No water for 5 weeks. And then they come and they tell you, well, it looked like the pump burned. We had to spend $150 million for a new pump. Yeah, go ahead. Because you just want water. This is what your government is doing to you. Opposition government, two sides of the same madness. The desalination plant in Trinidad and Tobago. If you told somebody that you live in a country that gets more water than it could ever use, and you capture that water and throw it in the sea, and then go and desalinate seawater to use, they will tell you you're mad. You're mad. Our water bill is supposed to be zero. We get our water free. I want to say that till you understand it. We get our water falling from the sky for free. All they have to do is capture it, but they so out to thief that money that they make it illegal in Trinidad and Tobago to catch water. You know it's illegal to catch rainwater in Trinidad? When that clung, and I know they have children here, so I'm not going to use the words I want to use. When Marvin Gonzalez telling you we have the cheapest rates in the world, I said, brother, I pay for a year of water and we ain't get yet. How is that the cheapest rates in the world? How? How is that the cheapest rates in the world? When we are not getting what we pay for, and they write a law that if you own a home and you don't pay that water bill, they could come and take your house. You think you could argue and tell them, but I never get no water? The man says, sue WASA. Because P&M lawyers will go to court and get paid if they win or get paid if they lose. P&M lawyers on both sides. P&M lawyers prosecuting, P&M lawyers defending. Either way, they just thieving money. That's your country. Somebody asked, are we watching a situation where friends of the government are suing the state, and the state is deliberately losing those cases so that their friends could win bounties of money? Is that going on in Trinidad and Tobago? Each and every one of us have a responsibility to talk these things. We have to say that it is no longer acceptable. We will no longer tolerate this as business as usual in Trinidad. That we want a better government. Now I want to say this to you. People ask me to talk calm, prime ministerial. I tell people this is not America. Here, we in a fight for our survival. The people of Manzanilla and Mayaro, they did this to you. They block off the water course and flood the road and wash away the road, and then come and spend $24 million to build back a road that lasts 6 months. You think they're going back to the contractor for we 24 million? They're going to spend the next 24 million. And that is going to continue to happen for as long as we let it happen. This country is going to continue to be run. And I'm saying this to you. You cannot get financing to open a business, but they have certain people in this country, I cannot explain where their finance coming from, where their credit coming from, where their foreign exchange coming from. If we got $5 billion in foreign exchange net 2022, where is that foreign exchange? When you go to the bank, you can't get on. I used to do live videos and get little 100 views, 200 views. And one day I went Republic Bank, Chaguanas Road. And I went to get US to pay bills. And they told me I could get 200 US. But I have to fill out these forms. And I got so angry. And that was the first time I did an angry video. Outside, I was just driving down the road, you know. And then I saw all these cars parked up in this place that is offload cars by Movie Town. And I just pull over my vehicle and I say, look at this. Where they getting their US from? Where does Hadco get their US from to have all those businesses packed to the hilt with foreign goods? Where does Massey get their, where do they get it from? We deserve answers. We deserve to live in a country where you could raise that question and your prime minister does not get on like a rotting donkey. Your prime minister is an insult. You can't even let your children watch the parliament or the news just in case Rowley in full monkey flight. Because they have times, as expect Rowley at some point to fling feces at the media. Like the chimpanzees in the zoo. You don't watch him. You don't watch him. His behavior. Prior Bihari asked him a question at the end of his last press conference, and he went full monkey on Prior. And the media gets that as a message. Be careful that you ask him a question and he monkey you. We cannot accept that. We cannot accept that. We have too much bright, good, decent people in this country. When we talk every creed and race finding an equal place, it must start in the parliament. The prime minister's job is to answer to you. The prime minister's job is not to behave like an animal. His job is to answer to you. And if he cannot do the job, he needs to be fired so that somebody who could be hired. All you're concerned about, all you should be concerned about is, if I leave school, I should be able to get a job. If I get a job, and I should be able to own a home. I should be able to buy a home. Long ago, and this is 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the average welder, plumber, mason, could I buy a house? You can't buy a house now. They have people who work in the bank who turning you down for mortgage who can't get a mortgage themselves. That's the truth. The cost of living in this country, the distance between the money that you earn and what you could get from that money is insane. That is the cost of living. You need a government that speaks to you about the cost of living. How do we make your cost of living smaller and smaller so your savings could get bigger and bigger and your investments could get more and more? That's what you need to be asking. You should be fed up of the politics of race and the politics of stunting. I could tell each and every one of you, Satish asked me, he said, you know what you must go back to do? Talk policies. Keep talking policies. The more policies I talk is the more policies there's teeth. But visit www.21policies.com. It's short. We should have 21 policies brochures here, I am sure. It's 2 pages. A manifesto don't have to be a Bible. The things that matter to you, home ownership. The Progressive Empowerment Party says the state has the ability to build or to assist you in owning your own home, 0 deposit, 0 interest for up to 30 years on $1.5 million. 0 deposit, 0 interest for 30 years on $1.5 million will allow minimum wage earners to own a home. The science says where home ownership is high, crime is low. The family sticks together. The communities knit together. Culture develops. People are happy. Our sports people will have opportunity to practice their sports because the cost of living will make sense. It doesn't happen in Trinidad and Tobago. We spoke about education. The education system does not make sense. We speak about public health. I told people on the radio, my niece, she's a doctor, she called me, she said my mother blood sugar high and her blood pressure low. So taken her to the hospital one time. So when I went and pick her up, I take her to Sinclair Medical Center. This is not an ad for Sinclair. But I wasn't taking my mother to the general hospital. If I had to sell my shoes and my pants to protect my mother, she'd go in Sinclair. Or somewhere where she will be treated immediately for what her condition is. It cost me and my family $5,000 for 3 hours and a couple tests. And that only happens because the public health in this country is so bad that no government minister, no financier, no friend or their family will ever even drive in that general hospital. And until you make it law that the prime minister must use the general hospital, it will stay that way. Until you take away the blue lights. You want to see traffic go away? You want to see traffic go away? Take away the blue lights. So you see when cabinet meeting and 4 ministers reach late, and the prime minister asks where they was. Boss, you see traffic outside there? The minister responsible for traffic will have a responsibility and he will have motivation to go and fix it. This is what we are talking about. This is what we are speaking about. Bring those with responsibility for managing the problems face to face with the problems. Take away those salaries that they enjoy. Take away those tax breaks. If you have to pay the same prices we pay, you wouldn't go into parliament and talk stupidness. You will talk the issues that are affecting the people because you will be people too, and it will be affecting you. When we say the member of parliament must live in the constituency they're representing, you don't have to line up to tell them mosquito and flood, and you don't tell them because they live in it too. That's what we're talking about. And the issues we raise, the Progressive Empowerment Party, our only crime plan is to secure the nation's borders, both the legitimate ports and at sea, so that no guns and no drugs and no human trafficking and no contraband could come in the country. But that's our only crime plan. All the rest of them who have to give you Operation Baghdad and Operation Anaconda, they're playing with you, they're stunting for you and they're fooling you. In Trinidad, the same people who selling guns to you for your legitimate FUL selling guns to the bandits too. We have a country that is broken by deliberate design from the top down. You have an opportunity. Let us not squander it. This is a gathering of good and decent people. Every time I speak and I talk about police officers and fire officers, Lima, her hair red because she's dealing with the fire service exclusively. But police officers, fire officers, prisons officers have no insurance. When a police officer gets injured in the line of duty, he has a limited amount of support he could get, and after that he could lose everything. We need to respect our teachers, our police, our farmers. Those 3 groups of people proved to be more important than all the other stunt artists during the pandemic. The technocrats, the technicians, the people that come out at 2 o'clock in the morning and change the transformer when it blows and fix the cable on your phone and those things that matter. We need to give those people a better standard of living. We need to make technical choices, vocational choices. We need to make it not that your child failed. Not everybody needs to be a doctor or a lawyer. We need an education system that is producing people that serve all of us and that those people could live a good life, could own a home. I know people in America leave Trinidad and become janitor and put all their children through university, own home and car. Why can't we do that here? I'll tell you, your governments have been stealing our money. They and their friends and their financiers, when they point at each other and say, you thief, all are we supposed to say, but neither are you all supposed to be thieving. That is our money. And Trinidadians, for some reason, don't feel like that is their money. All those special purpose companies, HDC, Sport TT, Vemcot, EMBD, EFCL, they shut down 2 of them and hide them away. They must be burned the books. Because if you go and audit those special purpose companies, you will look to jail prime ministers in this country for corruption. Those special purpose companies were set up to steal money. This is the last thing I'm going to tell you so you understand how much we think about how to solve problems. This one policy, listen to the amount of things it solves. Because when we told you just now about sink retention ponds, where the water collects. That does two things. It gives you water forever, and it stops the flooding. You win twice. One policy, one money spent. See? A government that wants to run this country will run this country properly. Trinidad not hard to run. The money that they want to spend in San Fernando waterfront, let's talk about Port of Spain waterfront. Port of Spain waterfront failed. You all know that? You all know it failed? You all know that the towers are empty? You all know that nobody in the media, nobody in the government, and nobody in the opposition talking about this because all of them dealing with the same contractors. But the Port of Spain, which is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago, that waterfront failed. So they have to go and close down things like the Hall of Justice and put the Hall of Justice in one of the towers and put other things in towers and try to pretend, but now the Hall of Justice empty. So what are you doing? You're playing musical chairs with real estate. San Fernando is dead. Dead. You want to go and build a waterfront in San Fernando that's dead, and Port of Spain waterfront failed? The same money that they want to spend in San Fernando waterfront could build all of the government buildings in the center of this island. Make all government services 15 minutes from any corner of Trinidad and Tobago. End the 3 and 4 hours of traffic that people sit in, 250,000 people every single day to go to work in Port of Spain. End the gridlock in Port of Spain. Reduce the value of real estate in this country and give people time, quality of life that they could spend with their family or doing hobbies, not spending 6 hours in a car in traffic. One policy. Where the money coming from? Don't spend it down there. Don't take down Gene Bear Complex and the National Stadium to build it over because you don't need it. You don't need it before, you're not going to need it after. We have too much stadium and not enough sports playing in them stadium. They're fooling you. They're tracking out, they're bringing out little black children and telling them this one could run and this one could jump and this one could hide. But they're not getting to use the stadium. Go by Atto Boland Stadium, the people, the elders in the community who want to go and walk around in the stadium in the evening, they're blanking them. The purpose of the stadium is to spend money and then leave it to rot. If you have a partner like Marshall, let him to throw off it. Taxpayers paying for that. That money could be spent. Every $500 million that they spend is 10,000 houses. 10,000 houses. The money that they spend, that $500 million they're spending to build the Tanti 1% flyover by West Mall, that could have built 10,000 houses for poor people in Diego Martin. And I hope that the people who support these parties, especially the PNM, wake up and pay attention to what they get in exchange for their vote. Napa, Sapa, and Taruba is $2 billion. That is 40,000 houses. But Napa, Sapa, and Taruba will never earn back the money that we spend. The only people who benefit is the Chinese company that come here to sell us their technology and they put their workers to work. They're thieving our money. You know what China doing now? China come in and lend us money to build things we don't need, guaranteed and taking away the things that we do need if we can't pay. And we letting that happen. We sitting down. Pitch Lake Port, Wassa, TNTech Airport. That's what they want. They want to come in a country and take your main revenue streams. Take those things. You will never own it back. Trinidad needs to stand together. We are going to end up in a country. And let me tell you about the contract mafia. When all you say to all this, see me, if it gets so bad, I go on. They don't care. They will fall here with Venezuelans and Nigerians and Chinese and Arabs who come in here to sell gyro. They will fall here with that. They don't care who paying the taxes and line up to drink the beer. They don't care if it's you or if it's somebody else. But this is your country. You have to defend it. That is what we're saying. That is what Felicia said. That's what Lima said. That is what all of us are going to say to you. The Progressive Empowerment Party is about all of us standing together against every creed and race that united in that contract mafia to make this mess of a country where we are all suffering. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to fix that. We could make Chaguanas a city in 5 years. Chaguanas could be solve your water problems, solve your traffic problems, make it possible for people to development, home ownership. Picture this country with a government that has a vision and a heart for people. That's what we are about. And if you want a better country, if you care about yourself, your future, all of us who sit down here, I tell you one more thing, one more. I buy an elliptical machine because Daniel and Jennifer and them in the party tell me, Philip, we want you to slim down. Because every time I bounce up Faris, he in leggings and tights, and I don't know where he's getting time to live in the gym. He was the attorney general, now he's the minister of local government. I can't find 5 minutes, so I buy an elliptical machine. I say when I'm watching TV tonight, I go do my little thing. I lifting up the elliptical machine to put it on the back of the van I drive in, and my hip went, and I'm only 56, and I think I'm dashing, debonair, and flexible. But it went, and for about a week I limp. And I want to tell you why I'm telling you that. Because I remember I watched my father and he used to run and jump and play with us, and then quickly the decline, it sets in, all of us. The cost of living for the elders, cost of medicine, the cost to survive. Think about yourself. Think about your future. Think about your children. Think about your grandchildren. Think about your country. This is yours. Let us stand together. Tell everybody, sacrifice, take the risk. Yeah, they go victimize we. Yeah, they go talk stupidness about we. But that will be a brief minute. We will get past it. We will win and we will fix our country. Let us stand together and do it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, ooh. Man, your belly. If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the black? Who feel the white? Who feel the white? I don't know. But it's not till tomorrow. Love to wine, represent all of we want to see happiness, prosperity. I do you and you for me. 'Cause if you touch me, one people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Good evening to everyone here. I want to start a little bit different, so let me see if this works. That is Mike and the Mechanics, a famous song called The Living Years. I am a little emotional this afternoon, so bear with me a little bit. Let me compose myself. To come to speak after Philip is an honor. Because I've always told him he definitely have the right ideas. Whether Trinidad and Tobago will come together and give an opportunity to somebody who have ideas is yet to be determined. So let me indicate to everyone, all protocols recognized. Let me thank the PEP and in particular the political leader, Philip Edward Alexander, for providing me with this invitation to address you. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Robert Amar. I am the M1047 Current Affairs Director, and I am here today in that capacity. We are the only mainstream media house that tells it like it is. There are 35 others. And those 35 others, they have to protect what they have. So they're not going out on a limb to say anything that will upset anybody. This outspoken approach has caused the Prime Minister to give instructions to the security at the diplomatic center, who used deception to have me removed from the media conference. I have since then taken action, but action costs money, and money is not as forthcoming as 20 years ago. The action that I have taken is to write to Matt, who, in my opinion, just like the guy around the Red House that said HYMC, I am saying Matt is a WFT. Now you decide what that means. I can't tell you. I have my own interpretation of what it means. I have gone after the publishers and broadcasters whom I spoke to and gave them the whole dossier, including the last 2 letters that I got, one just about 48 hours ago, which came to the office inviting or saying that there is a press conference at the diplomatic center. But of course, you don't catch me twice. So I did not go. I still await the publishers and broadcasters to respond. They have not responded to date. The next opportunity for me is to go to the Equal Opportunities Commission. I'm going through this in a process because we have time. And Keith Christopher King Rowley doesn't want to see me in front of him again. Because he knows very well, the next time he see me, I'm going to break him up bad. Because he's a waste of time. He ain't even worth the name that is written on the birth paper that he have. So let's start with some answers that I asked you for to the following questions. And let me help you, because you had to help me. Let's see if there's any unification, because we talk in this country plenty, you know. But when time comes to act, we on the toilet. Run out of toilet paper. Don't have no water. Mommy, bring the toilet paper for me. And mommy gone in the market. So you're still sitting down on the potty. So the answers to these questions, which I hope I get a response for you, is King Keith. King Keith. It's very easy. You don't have to worry with it. We could try it first. Where's the answer? I'm not hearing you. That's sounding a little bit better. Who stopped me from attending the press conferences at the diplomatic center? A louder man. The people in Chaguanas not hearing you. Not even Rowley could hear you. King Keith. Who instructed Dial Singh to deny M1047 from attending the virtual health conference? Who told the citizens that you must get jabbed, including your children? Who mandated face masks? The report that has just been published called the Cochrane Report. You can get it on the internet for free. It is more decisive talking about the failure of the mass than anything else. But as you know, statistics and information, you could always concoct to suit depending on who you are. But you have to read between the lines. Here is some of the information that was provided in the report. There were 9 studies that were done, which included 276,917 persons, and that report came back saying little or no difference in the wearing of masks. So you, the people who are here today that are not wearing masks, you are the sensible ones. Those of you who still wear masks, you have a choice. And nobody could impose that choice on you. But you also have an opportunity to go on the World Wide Web, which is virtually free if you're paying internet service in your house, and more so if you have children that are okura with the computer, to ask them to pull it up and educate you if you don't know. Just don't take my word. There were 6 other studies that were done. That was 13,919 persons. And although the major thing that came from them was discomfort, and those of you know that. When you had the mask, you're pulling it up all the time because it wasn't really designed for long-term use. So, was mask wearing and COVID-19 the 21st century hoax? If you ask Philip's brother, he will tell you, yes, yes, yes. This thing called the pandemic destroyed more of the people in the world. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we lost approximately 4,500 people, all because we had idiots that we gave permission to screw us over. And here what we were saying, oh God, it's nice, give me more. That is the approach we took as citizens. Soon, this truth will be in one place on a website that we are developing now, that you'll be able to go up and you could find all the information in one place. You see, when you have to go and look 2 and 3 and 4 places, you get tired. And when you go and you don't get what you want, you just start to give up. I recognize that. So our technical guy is working on setting that up. Just give me 2 seconds here, right? Because light is important. The new thing is April the 23rd, 2023. There's an alert all over the world. And this is talking about all sorts of things in the technological world. And that is another fear tactic. If you was bitten once, and you allow yourself to get bitten twice, then you will be the fool. Because at the end of the day, you have the opportunity to make sure you cross-fertilize, cross-check, do whatever you need to do to ensure that you don't get railroad or sidetracked. By a show of hands, how many of you are TikTokers? Well, too little, right? So let me start telling you tonight. If you want to help the Progressive Empowerment Party, when you leave here tonight, become a TikToker immediately. TikTok is the fastest growing communication mechanism on a free and fair platform, not being derailed and interfered with by any politician yet. In the United States of America, the Congress is trying to shut it down, but they'll have a hard time. I am posting my TikTok as to why they must keep TikTok on. And when you see the things you learn on TikTok, it's not just about stupidness like Facebook, only dotishness on Facebook, only monvilangas on Facebook, only unintellectual people on Facebook. On TikTok, you have smart people willing to educate, play the piano, play the guitar, talk to you about life, talk to you about problems in your whole health system, talk to you about how to do things, teach you. And they have so many preventative issues that they have put in place to make sure that children don't get sidetracked into it. Like how you could get on TikTok, like how you could get on Facebook. TikTok is the future. So I hope the next time, if I get the opportunity to address you again, that when I ask how many of you are TikTokers, the whole audience will shove their hand up in the air, smart and fast, because it is the quickest platform to help build information. You see that 21 issues that Philip talked about for fixing the country? Get it up on TikTok. You'll see how fast people will start to pick up with it and start sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing. And you will see how fast the message will come. Do a little video in the area on TikTok when the pipe busts and put it up. Do a little area when the MP come through and talk stupidness and put it up. Do a little area when the police doing the stupidness and put it up. Do it. You've got to at least have 1,000 people following you before you can start to post on your own. But get moving now. In the United States of America, 150 million people use TikTok out of a population of about 325 million, almost half the population. You understand why Uncle Sam wanted to shut down TikTok? Because TikTok started to get people to communicate with one another and talk to one another without having any fear. During the pandemic, you know how much things Facebook pulled down? You know how much people Facebook shut down? You know how much doctors couldn't express themselves freely? It ended up in the Congress, where one woman had to tell them, like, oh, they don't recognize and respect these intellectual people. Why don't you all? It's because they wanted to control the narrative. And in Trinidad and Tobago, they have controlled the narrative fairly well, that even when you go to the toilet right now to pass water, you'll say, do a PCR test. And they don't even understand PCR tests because they're still talking stupidness in Trinidad about 400 people tested positive. Ask any one of them what is the cycle threshold they use for verifying the incidence as to whether or not you are negative or positive. The cycle threshold used in Trinidad is over 40. The international standard is 27 or 28. Take a rubber band. This is 28. This is 40. Will you find something here? If you don't find it here? So they'll find it here because they stretch it where they want to stretch it. But it should be here. And if they tested it here, they wouldn't find it here. But they have conveniently, because they want to control the narrative. There's a guy called Ruml, R-U-M-L. Born in 1207. He's a 13th century. He's from Turkish Persian background. Madonna is one of his fans, like among many others. Here is a quote I want you to remember. Yesterday, today, I am wise. I am changing my self-style. It's time to reset the mindset. Because if you take your life into your own hands and make the decisions for your own self, based on proper research and information, you're definitely going to be a better person. Don't be guided by somebody who is not as intelligent as you. Do not be guided by somebody who is not as intelligent as you. Let me suggest that if you are not using your thoughts to define and create a vision of the future that will lead to create a new life, then you'll be left with just the memories of the past, and you will be predictable. That is the problem in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. They have known that ethnicity is what controls the narrative. So they could talk to the black man one way, and they talk to the Indian man another way. And if they keep both of them at each other's neck, then you can't go nowhere. It's like shuffling on slate. That's why I am writing the president and suggesting to her, one of the first things you need to do is change a line in the national anthem.
Can we start?
And I heard it in the song.
They're on a timeline.
I'm making the recommendation to Philip. I hope he listens. I hope that they take it into consideration. Where every creed
We good with this, right? Great, excellent. You are listening to and viewing also live coverage of the political meeting being held by the Progressive Empowerment Party right here at Ramsaran Street in Chaguanas. My name is Kieran Joseph Samaru, and this is coming live on the new U975 FM Multicultural Radio and also on our social media feed on Facebook. It is also coming live on the PEP's Facebook page, and with us this evening, speaking of the PEP, is a gentleman who could speak from anything from A to B and everything in between, Mr. Philip Edward Alexander. Mr. Alexander, thank you very much for having us here. Thank you very much for allowing us to do this interview with you. Your address was very wide-ranging. What are some of the points that you think people ought to take away from tonight's meeting?
Well, first of all, I need to say again, thank you very much, U97.5. I am enjoying the relationship that we have with your organization. I look forward to more and more as we grow. And every time you compliment me and I think about the amount of work that you do, I say, well, but I had to be getting real props here. But I want to say that the takeaway from tonight has to be, let's unite, one people under one flag. Let us come together. The division is not helping. The division is allowing the people we call the contract mafia and the corrupt politicians who have been stealing money for the last 62 years to continue to steal. Life in Trinidad has gotten too hard. We need to fix it. Those people who sit in the parliament, who sit in the cabinet, who sit in the government, they are responsible to us. If they can't do the job, they need to be fired and replaced by people who could. At the end of the day, the quality of life, the well-being of the citizens, the function and purpose of government. We're not getting that from this government. Or if we're honest, from the government before, we need a better Trinidad and Tobago. We need to set our benchmarks to Norway, to Finland, to Dubai, Singapore, Japan. We need to look to the countries that work, and we need to find out what it will take to get ourselves to those benchmarks. And I think that we could.
You decided to have a political meeting of all places in Chaguanas this evening. Why is that?
Because I think that we need the reboot Trinidad needs to start in Chaguanas. When you look at all the ways Chaguanas is kept from growing, Chaguanas needs to grow. Chaguanas needs to be a city. If we take the money that the government wants to spend on the, I was telling people that the waterfront project in Port of Spain failed. The waterfront in San Fernando going to fail. Don't waste that money. Take that money and build all the government buildings, all the government offices as a campus in the center of the island, proximity to Chaguanas. We need to redevelop Chaguanas. That will solve so many problems, especially the 3 and 4 hours people spend in traffic twice a day. It will put the government services within 15 to 20 minutes of every corner of Trinidad and Tobago and make life better for Trinidad and Tobago. Chaguanas needs our attention. The market in Chaguanas could be a tourist draw. That Chaguanas market is a beehive of activity that wants to grow it 5-10 times the size. Even if you have to relocate it, acres of parking, give them a proper market similar. I want your viewers and your listeners to go and research the Barcelona market. Let that be our model. It'll make money money. It will give our farmers and our vendors throughout the country an opportunity to make money. Our small businesses, because in a market like that, you have retail happening, you have restaurants, food courts, and it'll be a real nice thing. They have a lot going for Chaguanas. I think the port of Port of Spain needs to be moved from Port of Spain to Point Lisas, because Point Lisas is now broken and dead. We need that space to unstuff the containers so that all the drugs and the guns and human trafficking could end. All of that could happen. Chaguanas is the start. If we're going to reboot Trinidad and Tobago, we need to start in Chaguanas.
You've spoken about Chaguanas, but in your address you spoke about a range of other issues, from foreign exchange to the healthcare system to the issue of even water supply. What do you think are some of the more pressing issues that the people of the country need to demand a level of responsiveness from when it comes to their leaders?
Transparency, accountability. We need jobs. We need people to be able to afford homes. We need to shut down those special purpose companies and start back a more transparent tenders process before we give out contracts. I mean, we have the nonsense of rebuilding a stadium that we never use for sports. So what are we rebuilding it for? Just to waste the money? It seems like they know that they could get away with this. We need to fix it. The average person needs healthcare, especially for the elderly. The elderly spend a lot of their income and their money on their savings on healthcare. We didn't put it back affordable to them, and partner with India. India works with countries all around the world to provide generic drugs at bargain basement prices. We need to do that. We need to deal with our healthcare so that our public health works, and make it so that prime ministers and government ministers have to use public health. We need to take away the blue light so they will sit in the same traffic we're sitting in, so they're motivated to fix it. Our water problems should not exist. Trinidad's water, we get more water from the sky than we could ever use. Water could be fixed. The same money that you're spending to fix water will fix flooding, so you win twice. Fix education so all our children can have hope at a better life. We'll go somewhere. I don't talk about a crime plan other than securing the borders, securing legitimate ports, because if you provide people with hope and opportunity, you'll have no crime.
And even as we end our time this evening with you, as brief as it was, but as insightful as it was, I understand that you're launching some new MPs, shadow MPs, tonight. What are you expecting to achieve through the launching of shadow MPs?
Well, we have 15 shadow MPs on the ground now, and they're already working in their constituencies, and they're sending out videos and they're solving problems, because the whole idea behind Philip will fix it is we're broadening it to the PEP will fix it. So all our shadow MPs, if the government and the opposition are responding to you, come to us, we'll get it done.
And are there specific areas which will be launched tonight?
Diego Martin Central, San Fernando East, Labre, Chaguanas West. I can't remember what the fifth one is, but it's 5 that's being launched tonight. And I'm sorry that you didn't get to see them, but we will send that information to you for your broadcast. And I also want to say the next meeting after this is Siparia. We're going Manzanilla, we're going Diego Martin, and all of those meetings, I'm telling your viewers and your listeners now, we will be partnering with your organization to bring the information to them at all.
Well, we are very happy that we were able to partner with you on this occasion. We are very happy that we were able to not just hear the speech, but have this interview with you. And we certainly hope that in the future, not just will be able to join you here out on the field, but we will be able to see you here in studio, there in studio, as you were in studio with us on Thursday going.
Absolutely. And I also want you to use your contact with Satish to get all the shadow MPs' contact information and invite them too for interviews and press them and see what it is they're doing in their constituencies, so you get a better idea of the work that we're doing on the ground. Thanks a lot, Kieran. It's always a pleasure.
It is always a pleasure to be in your company and to hear some of the ideas that you're in a position to bring. And this is, of course, Mr. Philip Edward Alexander, the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, speaking right here at the PEP's meeting on Ramsaran Street in Chaguanas. This is where we drop the curtains on this evening's broadcast. It is just a few moments before 7 o'clock, and so we will want to thank the PEP for having us here at U975 FM here at this political meeting. We want to thank our team out on the field, Mr. Technician Aaron Moonshafi, and of course our team in studio for holding the controls together. And most certainly we want to thank all of our listeners and all of our viewers for being part of this evening's broadcast. My name is Kieran Joseph Samaru. Stay tuned to the new U975 FM Multicultural Radio.
It has nothing to do with political party. This has to do with you understanding the role of referendum And don't give me no excuse and tell me, well, you know, referendum, the parties there going to do this and hey, get the 500,000 people and leave that up to me. Leave that up to me. I will make sure we get it into the Constitution. Like I'm going to fight to get them to change that line in the national anthem. I'm asking from next week to all the people for the suggestion, because instead of saying, where every creed and race find an equal place, it will say, where every citizen finds an equal place. Because the citizens have to find an equal place, you know. Not creed or race. Creed are finding nothing, and race are finding nothing. But citizens, people, you need to find something. And if you find that, then we could make some difference. I'm going after another thing that I hear everybody bawling and carrying on about. Hear what everybody's saying. Fire Rowley, fire Rowley, fire Rowley. Well, hear what? I want to put up 15 billboards in Trinidad and Tobago. Say, Prime Minister Keith Rowley, you're fired. Join me. Help me. Finance it. Let me get it up. Stop the talk. Start to act. Because nobody will know you give me money. The end result is, I will be able to put those billboards up very, very prominently in the country. And maybe the message will then start to go. Those big, nice billboards we have all about the place. If not, we put it on the digitals. We apply to the guys with the digital and we put it up, if they're not afraid. Other than that, we will get some help. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago have failed, and this call to action to effect the change, you have denied yourself a democratic right, and unfortunately, you will be the one to pay the price. Finally, let me say to you, do you know the difference between power and leadership? Does anybody think they have any idea the difference between power and leadership? Well, let me tell you, leadership only exists if and when people follow, when they have freedom to not follow. That is leadership. Leadership only exists if and when people follow, when they have freedom to not follow. If you're free not to follow, but you follow, then that person carries the distinction of a leader. Otherwise, the action or reaction is just power. So what are you looking or wanting? What you look for, you find. That's just how life works. So if you're looking for nothing, you'll get nothing. If you're looking for success, you may get success. If you're looking for failure, you will get failure. What you look for is what you'll get. Philip talked about it, and I had it here, so I think he must copy my notes. Did you ever listen to the late Eric Williams' speech on democracy? How many of you have listened to it here? By a show of hands. Again, citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and you don't even know what the first Prime Minister of the Trinidad and Tobago told you about democracy. How do you make a decision if you do not have the right information? And I'm not buffing you. I'm just trying to guide you. Don't take this as if though it's an insult to you. You live in this country. You have to make the rules for this country. You have to get involved in this country. You have to take the action that is required to change this country. And if you don't understand from where you come, then you cannot appreciate where you want to go. Finally, your feelings is not a choice, but your behavior and thoughts are. Your feelings are not a choice. How you feel. But your behavior and your thoughts when you leave here, positive about what you want to do, positive about your thoughts about how you intend to achieve it, that you have control over. But this issue of choice, that feeling that you have in there, is not a choice because it's already built up inside of there for all the time. So it's time to reset the mindset. I'm asking you to join me. This is the petition. It's on the internet. My role today was to talk about this. Freedom is what Trinidad and Tobago requires. You are incarcerated no different than the people who are in the prison of Trinidad and Tobago. The difference is you're just outside. But you are decisionless, actionless, and mindless. And unless you do not make that quantum leap to create the type of environment, as I was saying, we need for you to really stand up and be counted. This country will not fix itself. This country can only fix itself if you become a part of the solution and not continue to be a part of the problem. Today, with the highest admiration for you, based on the show of hands for who has supported this because it has been out for 3.5 months, I am surprised that it has such little support. This is for you and for your children. This is the one thing that if we bring everybody together could make the big change in Trinidad and Tobago with regards to having a better country. I wish the PEP and Philip Alexander all the best. He has taken on a Herculean task. This is not no easy task. This is a task swimming like the salmon upstream. The only thing we could hope is that when he gets there, he could spawn enough eggs to make enough salmon to feed enough people. I want to thank you.
One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time. Fix it. Build a better TNT. Build a bigger fix it. Bigger fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Good night, everybody. My name is Satish Ramsaran, and I am the National Party Organizer for the PEP, Progressive Empowerment Party. I want to thank all of you for coming out here. I know it takes a lot to sacrifice to come out and spend your time, and it's going to take a lot of sacrifice to fix our country. The reason why I am here, because I watch my country, and I have 2 small children, and I am so afraid for their future. I don't know, nothing works in this country, and it's sad, it's really sad. And the sacrifice that I'm putting in here, I hope that one day it's going to pay off. And my job here tonight is to introduce our original shadow MPs that we have already. And I cannot tell you how much sacrifice these people have made to try to help fix our country. It's time, it's family, it's money, it's a lot of hard work, and I want to say before I bring up everybody here how proud I am of my shadow MPs. My job is to bring in the 41 shadow MPs for the entire country. Here is our start. Akil Camps, Diego Martin Ortiz. Omra Jaikaran saying point of here. Sheldon Khan, point 14. Marissa Fasad Paru, Rupert East. Darren Ramsey Paul, Carney East. Dion Richards, Maruga Tableland. John Solomon, Separia. David Welch, Laventille East.
One by one, let's do it together. Let's be the change we want to see. Standing strong to any weather. Follow the light of the PEP. Cause we could build a better place.
We have Felicia Holder, Chairman. Sometimes we forget Felicia Holder is our Chairman also, and Shadow MP. The amount of work she does. Two others who are not here, Ravi Sitcharan, Princess Town, and Anthony Henry Kamutu Manzanilla. They both had some medical emergencies and I'm sure they wish they were here. Guys, this is our team, our starting line-off. And tonight we have others we're going to be launching. I'm very proud to launch 5 others tonight as we move on to start fixing our country. Thank you very, very much. Y'all take care. It's our pleasure tonight to introduce our 5 brand new spanking Shadow MPs. The role of our Shadow MP is to hit the ground and to spread the word of the PEP. Sterling Liha.
Tego Martin Central.
Renison Jeffrey.
Labre. Oh, we have a lot of Labre people. Nice. Good job.
Dr. Disrael Rock.
Yeah, man,
San Fernando West.
Peter Samuel.
San Fernando East. Only we need more love for all the other areas too, you know. Yes, thank you. Good.
And last but not least, the Shadow MP for
Chaguanas West.
Ibrahim Kadir.
Yay!
Tell them we go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. Come out in your numbers. We go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. PEP go fix it. No jobs, no safety, no water.
So guys, this is our new lineup of Shadow MPs. We have more to come. As we move around the country, we'll be launching more Shadow MPs. And we're happy. Please, again, give them a round of applause. Wish them all luck and all God's blessings. They have a lot of work to do. So proud of my team as they're growing. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Standing strong to any weather. Follow the light of the PEP. Cause we could build a better place for every creed and every race. Together we could triumph over anything we face.
Ravi Sitaran is here, and we can't miss him out. Ravi Sitaran, Princess Town. Good evening, Chaguanas. How is everyone? It's a pleasure to be here, late, but still here. I want to just let you all know something. This organization discriminates against no one. As you all saw, when asked to step up to be the shadow MP for Princestown, I said yes. So this is what the Progressive Empowerment Party is about. Progression, empowerment, and moving the people of Trinidad and Tobago forward. This is what we want you to vote for in 2025. Progression. Forget red, forget white. Let me paint it orange. Good night.
Tell them we go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. Come out in your numbers. We go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. PEP go fix it. No jobs, no safety, no water, no justice, no accountability, bad roads, corrupt politicians, no more. We're going and fix it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lakshman Ramrup, and I'm here in the capacity of mobilization officer. And my job is really to get events like this coordinated so that we could have more events like this in the future. You know, we need to get PEP on the ground, and I'd like to share a personal story and why it is I joined PEP. My mother was in the hospital, Mount Hope, and she died because she didn't get attendance. And my father collapsed in the waiting room of Mount Hope because he didn't get attendance, while the nurse was there on WhatsApp. And my sister collapsed in the waiting room as well, while the nurse was on her phone, on Facebook. So I lost every single member of my family because of a failed healthcare system. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today. I'm here to try and fix the things that have been going wrong for the last 60 years. Things that we have been doing wrong for the last 60 years. I'm aware that there are people in the Blind Welfare Association who are watching our videos live right now. And I can't help to think that there are people who are visually impaired who are watching a live video. And 1.4 million people with feet that can't stand together for one country. I can't understand that, you know. And it's really disheartening to see that we have so much people, and everywhere we go, we have people saying that, you know, we need a change, and we need a change, and we need a change, and people, they're not just standing up, they're not getting up for that change. They don't want that change for themselves. They want us to do the work, but we need your support just as well. You know, it takes a lot to get an event like this started, you know, to get an event like this off the ground. We need support, we need your financial support, we need your emotional support, we need physical support to get all these things off of the ground. You know, and in that note, I'd like to thank, I have a list of a few things, a few people that I'd like to thank. And firstly, I'd like to thank Mr. Philip Alexander for the vision that he created the Progressive Empowerment Party with. I'd like to thank Satish Ramsaran for the work that he has been doing that nobody else has seen. I'd like to thank Amanda, Nicole, Akil, all the shadow MPs for all the work that they have been doing. This afternoon, I'd like to especially thank Mr. Ravi and Trudy Devanarayan for the generator that they have donated to us so that we could have power to get this event started. Also, our next event is carded for Siparia, and on next week we'll be going to Mayaro to help clean beaches for turtles so that they could have a nesting ground on next week. Right? And I'd like to remind you all that there is corn soup, there's pulori, and other refreshments across the next side, and merchandise. There's merchandise on sale as well. Yeah? Thanks again.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
All protocols observed. Good night, my PEP family. Good night, my PEP family. Good night, my PEP family. We are here in the grounds in Chaguanas. Central people, good night. My name is Precious Crickshank, and I am your woman's arm chairman for the Progressive Empowerment Party. So my PEP family, good night. We are here, and we are people under one flag for one reason, and we want change. Change is inevitable, but yet it is going to happen. We should not be fearful of change, because positive change improves our life, and we want improvement in this country. Yes? Wait. Y'all ain't singing, sure. Do we want improvement in our sweet Trimbago? That's right. And under the Progressive Empowerment Party, we will get improvement. We will see a change. We will have better security for our family, where we can still, long time ago, we could have still leave our gates open without anybody just walking in, because we felt safe. There was a level of security that we had, and we were insured by the government that we had before. That sense of security is coming back under the Progressive Empowerment Party. Yes? We are going to get proper health care. We are going to get a better education system for our children, who are the future of our country. Yes? And we need you. We need you to support. We need you to come forward. We need you to come forward and start volunteering. And you can volunteer within the Woman's Arm. You can take my number. It's 298-4852. Or you can go to our website, www.peptt.com. You can sign up, become a member, join the Woman's Arm, get active in your community. It starts with you. It starts with you. And if you don't start, who are you waiting on? You can't wait for anyone else. You know the correct saying where they say, it only happens when it comes to your doorstep. That is when you feel it. Don't wait for it to come by you. Feel it now. When you see it on your television, feel it now. When you see other women like yourself and other male figures like yourself having to deal with robbery, getting killed innocently, feel it now. And start acting. Start becoming the change that you want to see. Have a pleasant good night and everyone reach home safe.
I asked for a song with this, but apparently the DJ can't play. Here we go. Where is it from, Anna?
If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love.
We are one people under the sun, one nation. Come on, stand up. Who feel the black? Who feel the white? Come on, clap, people, clap. Thank you so much. Bring it down, DJ. So you just heard from the Women's Arm Chairman, Precious Cruikshank, and I think some of you already know that we are the most dynamic duo in all of politics in Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right.
The entirety of it. The Women's Arm, led by Precious Cruikshank, and in fact, I'll say the Honorable Precious Cruikshank. Also, the Youth Arm, ran by myself as
Mr. David King Welch.
Hey, we all day.
So, y'all know in the Progressive Empowerment Party, we tend to do things on the spot. We tend to do things that no other political party will do or can do. The political party, this political party, is ran by Philip Edward Alexander. And he is, quite frankly, the next Prime Minister to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. No. The next Prime Minister to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Because let me tell you this, the president, and thank God we have a new president because we had a pencil pusher, but the president, the former president, ain't do nothing. We now have a president, Christine Kangaloo, the Honorable, that took up office. And for her speech that she gave, she spoke about youth development. I tell you this, I trust no man with youth future, with the future of the youth. But the one person I trust, or the one party I trust, is the Progressive Empowerment Party. And that is because they give people like Precious a chance. They gave people like me, myself, a chance. You all saw the 10 shadow MPs. You all saw the new shadow MPs launch. These are people that care about the country. They are not the Fitzgerald Hangs. They are not the Keith Rowley. They are not pencil pushers. They came here to work. Precious and I, we are here to work. And together we are one people under one flag, and we will fix Trinidad and Tobago. Not only that, we have the men and women in the police service here today. They go through lots of problems that we know of if you all listen to the political leaders speak. They go through it all, but they are here protecting us. And I know Philip will do this, but let's give them a round of applause, please. Now, I said I trust no one with my future other than the Progressive Empowerment Party. And Philip wanted me to be serious tonight. And I tell you this year, for persons that are asking what the youth arm of the PEP is doing, this year, the Progressive Empowerment Party's youth arm intends to reach out to youths across Trinidad and Tobago. Because we are ready to launch, hear me closely, we are ready to launch constituency hubs of the youth arm in each constituency. First, we're going to target Lupino, Bonaire West, and then we are going throughout Trinidad and Tobago. But one thing that we are going to do one thing that we are going to do, we're going to start community cleanup campaigns. We're going to go to Manzanilla Beach, as Lachman just told you, and we're going to bring out young people to go and do that. But we are all, I'm training young people to be a part of the PEP media team. The cameraman is young, the director is young, so let's just give them a round of applause. These are people that took time to be here to volunteer their service. You don't get that again in Trinidad. You don't get people volunteering, especially young people volunteering. And the youth arm of the Progressive Empowerment Party tends to reach out to a lot of youths. Right now we have 150 young people attached to the youth arm right now. And if you would like to be a part of the youth arm, what I will encourage you to do is go to www.peptt.com and sign up. Sign up your child as early as 13 years old. Sign up your child to the youth arm of the Progressive Empowerment Party and get them on board in this.
And David, we have young ladies serving. Young ladies
Also,
doing service. We have them at
tell them.
We have young women serving, you guys, if you have seen, and they were giving all the soup and the water. Young people serving. They are serving you, and they're starting from now. So when they are ready to get into politics, they already have the fundamental understanding for serving people. Yes?
Now, I'm wrapping up. I'm here with Precious Cruikshank, because you all know that Precious and I, again, is the most dynamic duo in all of politics. What the others trying to do now with saying this one is youth arm chairman, that one is women's arm chairman, none of them can touch the Progressive Empowerment Party. And I want to thank you, all of you here today, because y'all are the real peppers in Trinidad and Tobago. And come election time, we're going to kick them out of office. We're going to stay in the place orange. We're going to vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party. My young people, stand up, rise up. It is time to vote for change. Good night.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. I am the Shadow MP for Siparia. Kamla, neighbor as they're calling it. But you know what, me afraid she? I ready for the fight. Siparia ready for the fight. This week something great happened with we taking action against the mayor of Chaguanas. We served them papers. And you know what? The CEO of the Siparia Corporation say that we lying. We lying. But I have the evidence on the phone. Siparia marketing a mess. And the same way we dealing with them in Chaguanas, we go deal with them in Siparia. We have areas in Siparia that she don't go to. 7 years now, people see she. They don't know if she dead, alive, where she is. But you know what? They're seeing me. And yesterday, I and the Shadow MP for Moruga went to a borderline community. We have crimes going crazy down there. But you know what? The police gave us assurance that they will assist the people. So tonight, I just want to say thank you all for coming out, supporting PEP, the next government of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Shadow MP for Oropouche East. You know, they told me I didn't have to say anything tonight. And while I was having my corn soup, they said, hey, you up next. So I really wasn't prepared. But I just want to say this. 2 weeks ago, we started walking on our village in our constituency, Oropouche East. And it's the same problem over and over that we're hearing from the citizens. No water, poor drainage, bad roads. Imagine Diamond Village, Debe, Barakpur, the same problems. Poor drainage, no water, and bad roads. And this is in the constituency with Dr. Monilal, right? We vote for him. Well, I wouldn't say I anymore. But the constituents vote for him, the constituents. And he hasn't been seen in years. And when we ask them, they say even the councillor, when they approach her, she's saying, hey, don't come to my office anymore, you know. We can't really do anything for you. So what are we really voting for? Why are we voting these people in office when they can't even help us with the simplest of things? And it's very unfair to us, because even me, imagine I had to take a day off yesterday because finally I get water in the pipe to handle my daily chores. Imagine I'm waiting whole week for water. I got water yesterday morning. Praise God, it's still here this morning. I'm not too sure when I go back home, the pipe might be empty. And it's very unfair that we keep voting in these people and it's not making sense, right? So I don't have anything much to say, as I always say this, because our political leader always says everything. He touches on everything, and I always say this. So what I want to say now is vote for the change. Stand up and vote for the change so that the change could happen. We alone can't do it, but once you put us in office, we'll show you, and we'll change the laws to let you know that if we not do any work, we had to get out of here. We voting for change this time. Thank you, TNT.
People under one thought. It's time for change. This time we voting PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We gon' fix it. Build a better TNT.
Trinidad and Tobago.
We gon' fix it because we voting PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Yeah. PEP. Correct. One thing I have to tell all you tonight. The PEP here to fulfill all your demands. All you ask for young people in government. All you ask for new people in government. And all you ask for a brand new party. We here to give you all that. That's all I had to say. Bless.
On people under one thought. It's time for change. This time we voting PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We gon' fix it. Build a better TNT. We gon' fix it. We gon' fix it because we voting PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Chaguanas West, good night. And thank you for having the Progressive Empowerment Party here tonight. My name is Dion Richards, Shadow Member of Parliament for Muruga Tableland constituency. Tonight, I want to say something to the people of Muruga Tableland especially. I am taking up the task, and I am taking a stand tonight to say that I am going to fight hard with the people of Muruga Tableland to add to the food basket of Trinidad and Tobago where agriculture is concerned. I am going to work hard, very hard, to feed this country, Trinidad and Tobago where agriculture is concerned. You see this sign here tonight, ladies and gentlemen? The Progressive Empowerment Party is the only party tonight that could take this country from where it is now into a place where all of us can live good and move forward as a people. So I want to say thank you for having us here. Thank you for all the support. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, fellow Trinbadians. I have a fear, and listen my fear. I went this week by the visa office with a friend, and I saw people applying for visas to leave the country. And a thought dawned on me that if we don't get up and fight for this country, just now, you will be in a boat with your children between your legs, fighting to quit in somebody else's country? Do you rather fight here or allow this Keith Rowley's administration to decimate this country? And next minute, here's a gardener, or a plumber, or a painter, or you're mixing cement in somebody else's country? You saying that you are afraid of victimization. Would you rather be victimized here, where you know people you could count on, or do you rather be victimized in the next man's country? Let me ask you a question. I was speaking to a friend this week, and she told me that she cussed up a Grenadian security in the bank. So I said, why do that? She said, because he's a foreigner, I can talk to you how you want. So, you know, she not understanding that the level that this country is going through right now, you could end up a foreigner in somebody else's country if you don't want to fight here. Are you prepared to make up your mind to fight somewhere else? When you see a Venezuelan, you think they want to be here? It's because things are that bad there. And if we don't fight here, one day, you're going to be in a boat, you're going to be on a plane. Do you want to say when you're on that boat or when you're on that plane making that journey that you did your best? When you have your children between your legs, do you want to tell them that you did your best? That we could have fight more, we could have do it, but I was quiet and I was afraid victimization? That is my question to you. Is either you fight, you make up your mind to fight here, or you allow things to go on how it's going on, and one day you're looking to leave.
One people under one God. It's time for change, it's time we vote to be. Come on, let me fix it. We gon' fix it. Build a better TNT. Build it, we gon' fix it. We gon' fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Hello, good night, everybody. My name is Peter Samuel, and I'm the member for the constituency of San Fernando East. Let me take off my hat so people can see my face. Right? When I was asked to represent San Fernando East, I said, okay, sure, why not? I'm up for an adventure. I always like a good fight. Right? And I remember driving up the highway the next morning. And I'm someone that prays a lot. Based upon the things that I've experienced in life and the pressures that I've been through in this country where people just tell you that don't bite the hand that feed you. You understand? You mustn't be ungrateful, PNM. I catch my real tail on that PNM. Nobody didn't feed me. I had to get up and get day after day, right? I just see that kind of talk as slavery talk. I think that proverb was invented in reference to dogs. You know, like you're telling somebody, don't be an ungrateful dog. You understand? When someone told me about Philip Edward Alexander, and he said, listen, to this man, Philip Edward Alexander. I say, who is that? He said, just go on YouTube and stuff like that and take a hearing to the man. Take it. And I began to follow, listen, and I'm someone that listens very attentively. And one of the things that I realized is this man was speaking the truth. Oh, he harsh. He does curse. He want power. I grew up reading the Bible.
As far as the Bible tells me, God wants human beings to have power. Man was designed to walk in power. The problem is not having power. The problem is what you do with the power that you have. And I realize I am one that is able to look through all the mess and listen very attentively to what somebody is saying. Because there is a word in the Bible that said, from the abundance of the heart, a man will speak. Right? So, I listened to Philip talk about his mother cooking and taking them out to feed the poor. You see, when people talking nonsense, I just get vexed, Trinidadian could be a hypocritical people, You understand? When people talking about, I hope I remember to come back to that thing and continue that story. When I hear people talking about how Philip does get on, I just ask myself sometimes, but how come everybody have vexed so yet? I was speaking to a woman and she said, you see just how Philip does get on, just so my husband does get on anytime he hear about politics, Just like that, You understand? So you're doing it in the back, you feel God, I'm judging you less than someone who coming in front. So I listen very carefully because, as I said, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. And I heard this man speaking about his mom taking him from an early age. Because when somebody talking constantly, so eventually what in your heart will come out, And he taking him and his brother and his to help to feed the poor, and how the community used to live in is everybody used to be around the table, and the ordinary people. These are the things that I listen to. You understand? And to get the idea of what is in the heart of a human being. Their mother was teaching them love, not to look down on anybody, compassion. Amen? Amen. I'm saying amen like it's a church service. All right? And these are the things I look at. And that is why I am with the Progressive Empowerment Party. If I even looked at the fact that his brother, Paul Alexander, the both of them, they were fighting against this COVID vaccine. And once again, they were speaking the truth. And you consider the fact that our leaders, right, were lying to us. And they were speaking the truth and trying to get the population to understand the truth. Now the whole conspiracy, this whole narrative about COVID is falling apart. Everything that Philip and his brother was saying, it was the truth. Right? There's a saying, he who has eyes to see, let them see, and he who has ears to hear, let them hear. My name is Peter George Samuel, and I'm the representative for the constituency of San Fernando East. May God bless you. I'm hoping to see my community, to walk up and down my community, to get to know the people. I'm expecting to hug a lot of people, to cry and to laugh with a lot of people. You understand? I grew up on the ground. The people that I'm familiar with is the man of the ground. Who am I? I'm a taxi driver. I'm an auto body straightener. I'm a messenger in the Ministry of Youth Development and National Services in Tragarete Road in St. James. If all you want to come for bloody me, that is where I work. If we have a prime minister who's a dictator and they like to victimize people, all you're playing, all you're coward, that's where I work. I'm ready for war.
One people under one flag. It's time for change. It's time we vote to PEP. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Good night, everyone.
Vote PEP.
Okay, so my name is Amanda Williams, and I'm assistant to the PEP executive team. We at the Progressive Empowerment Party would like to thank you all for coming, and we express our sincerest thanks to our guest speakers, Mr. Robert Amar, and our range of speakers. Our special thanks go out to our team members, Mr. Lachman Ramrup, Party Organizer for Central Hub, Mr. Akil Camps, Mr. David Welch, Ms. Felicia Holder, Miss Indira A.Y. Singh, Miss Nicole Mangler, Miss Precious Cruikshank, Shobi Jaislon, Miss Jennifer Mohammed, and our shadow MPs who have been on the ground beating the road for weeks, and we thank you all for the efforts expended. We also would like to thank the business community of Chaguanas, places like Woodford Cafe, CNC Concepts, Mirage Transport, AJ Sound Systems, Daddy Printing and Embroidery, and Tasty Eats, to name a few. A special thanks goes out to our national party organizer, Mr. Satish Ramsaran, who has been going above and beyond to organize and mobilize the nation and build out the Progressive Empowerment Party. We owe our thanks to U97.5 FM with Mr. Kiran Samaru for creating a space for us on their program this week and again this afternoon. The Progressive Empowerment Party would like to thank the TTPS for securing this event. In closing, I want to thank everyone who stepped up for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you and have a great night. Don't forget to visit our merchandise and membership tents and also partake in our refreshments. Safe journey to each and every one of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Belly. If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the black? Who feel the white? Who feel the white? I don't know. But it's till tomorrow night. Who feel the wrong? Who feel the wrong? Who feel the right? Who feel the right? Come and go. Come and go. And all who feel the too bright. Let me jump up. Same way. Let me wind up. Same way. Party non-stop. Same way. Ramage dingo like we come to play man. Same way. Every creed and class. Same way. Don't let nothing pass. Same way. Like a ready TV, all the love inside away. You got an accent, but we're not really different. 99, 1% love to wine, represent. All that we want to see, happiness, prosperity. I for you and you for me. Cause if you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the black? Who feel the white? Who feel the white? I don't know. But it's till tomorrow night. Who feel the wrong? Who feel the wrong? Who feel the right? Who feel the right? Come and go. Come and go. And all who feel the too bright. Let me jump up. Same way. Let me wind up. Same way. Party non-stop. Same way. Ramage dingo like we come to play man. Same way. Every creed and class. Same way. Don't let nothing pass. Same way. Like a ready TV, all the love inside away. Uptown and ghetto, feeling the tempo. Soca and Kaiso, it's party they like so. Soon as we land, fun is the plan. We like the jam, like the man bam. Waving we hand inside the band, we inside the band. And if you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the